What up, Space Fam? Goes in here from Anime Uproar, and wow, this is a whole other level of crazy right here with this chapter. We see what happens to Luffy after the crazy cliffhanger last chapter, learn more about Joy Boy, Kaido, and the list goes on, and so make sure to stay tuned for that. If you do enjoy these chapter reviews and want to keep them coming, channel the Pirate King within and smash that like button until it's blue. If you haven't, make this the video you subscribe and hit that notification bell to turn on all notifications, or you will miss future One Piece videos. Lastly, while you wait for the next chapter to drop, feel free to check out my growing One Piece playlist that includes videos on all the Yonko, Warlords, Supernova, and more. Link to that is in the description. Now without further ado, let's jump into it, spoilers and all. This chapter is called A Lifelong Ham Actor, which suggests Kanjuro. I won't lie to you, I had to look up what the ham part actually meant, and it turns out to mean an actor who is overly theatrical, and if that isn't the best way to describe Kanjuro, I don't know what is. The lifelong also implies that that life might be coming to an end here, but let's see. We jump right to Luffy falling off Kaido's moving castle. Now, I truly was surprised by this. Yes, it wouldn't be the first time Luffy lost, but the dude had more experience under his belt, such unwavering confidence, and a new hype technique, but he still got slapped down without really tiring or worrying Kaido too much. Kaido doesn't even need to take a break afterwards. Again, I think it's fascinating for the story, and I like the fact that One Piece isn't as predictable as some other shows in that sense, and I like Oda's continued respect for the Yonko as well. Anyways, as Luffy continues to fall, Kaido remarks that yeah, Luffy figured out how to coat his blows in Conqueror's Haki, but his technique left a lot to be desired, and that makes complete sense. We're so used to new techniques changing everything in shonen battles, but here realistically, just because Luffy unlocked it, it doesn't mean he perfected it to a greater extent than Kaido. And although some fans don't want to see another gear, it truly seems like it might be necessary to beat a Yonko at this point. Kaido straight up laughs at Luffy's attack, not even remembering its full name. There was a possibility that Luffy, like Big Mom, would be saved from the air. Some people were saying it could be Marco who saves him before he hits the water, or maybe he saved himself with his stretched out arms, but no, Oda is making it look as bad as possible. He is now in the water, completely powerless. Obviously, the protagonist can't die, but it's going to be hard for anyone to find him at this point. Respect to Oda for keeping us on the edge of our seats, even though we logically know that he can't kill off his main character. Kaido then drops a very important line saying it seems like Luffy couldn't beat Joy Boy either. Let me know how you guys read this line, but not only does it lend to the mystery of Joy Boy and reveal more about Kaido, it teases the possibility that Luffy could be Joy Boy, or at least Kaido had reason to believe he could be until he started to believe that Luffy's already as good as dead. Now, there's already been theories that Luffy is Joy Boy, although what that would mean exactly is up for debate, but it's cool to see the possibility escape Kaido's lips as well. Wow, there is so much here to play with, and once everything falls into place, it'll be so fun to go back to these little moments and their significance. But as I said, Kaido is not resting at all. He doesn't need to. He's told that they located Momo, and he immediately says he's on his way. Yes, he's an antagonist and we don't want him to win, but you gotta appreciate his leadership here. He's immediately ready to back up his crew after beating the opponent's best fighter, and he wisely decides to make an announcement that Luffy's been defeated and that he's coming to help with the cleanup. Psychologically, that would quickly cause the remaining fighters, or at least most of them, to lose morale. I like seeing when characters fight strategically like this on the psychological level rather than just on the physical level, but more on that later. Yamato, no longer with shackles and no longer a prisoner, is fighting off Kaido's men as Odin while Momo is still reading. And he says he cannot afford to die after reading something, suggesting he has even more significance than he thought. Something that seemingly even trumps being the ruler of Wano. Again, all of this fate and prophecy stuff is really interesting in One Piece, like trying to figure out the secrets of the world. And I like how Luffy's quest to become the freest corresponds with figuring out that truth as well. Then, just when Momo seems to get a massive headache asking, "Who are you?" to no one in sight, we jump off to Chopper versus Queen. Now, I don't think anyone expected Chopper to actually beat Queen, even though the good shots he did get on him were extremely satisfying. At first, it actually looks like Chopper is winning, but he's out of breath while Queen is only amused, saying that Chopper is pretty short of breath for someone who's winning. Queen even calls him a tanuki, pouring some salt on the wound after Chopper made it known that he's not one and doesn't appreciate being called one. We see Perospero too, preparing to launch some candy arrows. Throughout this fight, my eyes are glued to this candy clown. More than ever, our guys need Big Mom to definitively betray Kaido right now. We get a flashback to Caesar Clown pretty much telling Chopper to man up because he's a pirate, and a meager 3 minutes of gigantification won't cut it. He offered to design a drug with more added risks, but it would increase the gigantification time to a whopping 30 minutes. Pretty cool, but still not enough here to deal with an all-star. In the meantime, Perospero just keeps raining down candy arrows on people. But yeah, this doesn't look good. Last we saw, Zoro was out of commission, Luffy is all but dead in the water, Chopper is clearly losing, and the list goes on, not to mention Kaido is now free to help squash everyone else. Unless Shanks himself pulls Luffy out of the water now, it looks very grim indeed. And I do like that in shonen, because you know they'll find a way through the dark times, and you'll be able to remember those times with a sense of pride because you made it through that kind of situation. It's these kinds of things in shonen that help motivate people in real life too, even if they do find themselves in a hard spot at the moment. This is when the announcement is made, and the announcement is so good from a Machiavellian standpoint. Everyone is told Straw Hat Luffy, the rebel with the highest bounty, has been defeated. After he was slaughtered, keyword, not beat but slaughtered, his corpse was dropped to the darkest depths of the Night Sea. The Kozuki samurai have failed, the captain has failed, and now Kaido is coming to oversee cleanup. And then after painting that quote-unquote "you all have absolutely no chance" picture, the announcements add that if the enemy wants to surrender and become loyal to Kaido, they will be not only spared but welcomed. Dude, Kaido has clearly read The Art of War and The Prince, because this is textbook and insanely well choreographed. Obviously, our more central characters like Kid and Marco appear more unfazed, and Sanji and Zoro straight up reject the offer, but it's going to be much harder for the so-called extras to not accept such an offer. Just as with animals, if people are cornered, they're more likely to fight to the end. But if you give them a way out, they're more likely to take it. Everyone is told that the victor has already been decided, so Kaido is framing it in a way that fighting back at this point seems completely futile. Momo is still suffering, needing to tell Kinemon something important, but they're interrupted by Oden, who, as we might suspect, is Kanjuro. It'll be interesting to see what Momo wants to say. Could it have something to do with sensing Luffy and knowing something we don't yet? Both Shinobu and Momo are tricked when they see Kanjuro as Oden and assume it really is Oden. And I gotta say, even though it's pretty obvious that it is Kanjuro and that we just saw Kanjuro in the previous panel as readers, a part of me was still like, but what if that really is Oden? I know it's unlikely, but what if? And so I totally understand how Kiku hesitated and was in turn given a seemingly mortal wound by Kanjuro. Then Kanjuro reveals himself, which is probably not the best move strategically because it probably makes him easier to stab for Kinemon, but it also makes the story more satisfying when we see Kinemon exercise his revenge on Kanjuro rather than on an Oden lookalike. We can't be sure about deaths, but right now it definitely looks like Kiku is done for, and Kanjuro already had a mortal wound, so this should really finish him off. Kiku says, and I quote, "The lingering snow is finally melting, so I can tell the dawn is near. Wano's dawn will still shine in the afterlife," end quote. Really love that. The idea that even those who sacrifice their lives for the cause, like Oden, will be able to appreciate the so-called dawn of Wano. Kanjuro then continues to be a frustrating and interesting villain, saying, and I quote, "Someone had to close the curtain on my life, and you're a perfect fit for that role. After all, while I was performing on the stage, you were my best friend," end quote. He says this to Kinemon, and by doing so, he refuses to repent right up to the end. Rather than being upset about dying, he completely accepts the situation, and so he robs us of a satisfying revenge right up to the end. He was a terrible person and a great villain in my view. The dude definitely took Shakespeare's words, "all the world's a stage and all the men and women merely players," very seriously. Then none other than Kaido shows up where they are, and as Momo runs, Kaido slams Kinemon. We definitely can't be sure that Kinemon's done for, but the panel makes it look like Kaido straight up smashed through his entire head down to the middle of his body. Momo cries at seeing this as people are seemingly dropping like flies on our side, and we're shown that Onigashima looms over the skies of mainland Wano. So things look really bad now, but we gotta remember, the worse it looks now, the more satisfying the eventual victory will be, and rarely has One Piece looked this bleak. As always, this is an amazing story, and this was a surprising and fascinating chapter. Not a happy one, but a necessary one for the eventual payoff. Let me know your thoughts about this chapter and where you think the story is going in the comments below. Let me know if you think these characters are actually dropping like flies, or if we can't assume anything yet, not until we see the caskets. The samurai were ready to die, but it's still so sad to think about them actually going. Except for Kanjuro, of course. Either way, this is all so insane, and I can't wait for the new chapter next week. If you do enjoy these chapter reviews and want to keep them coming, you know what to do. Channel the Pirate King within and smash that like button until it's blue. If you haven't, make this the video you subscribe and hit that notification bell to turn on all notifications, or you will miss future One Piece videos. Lastly, while you wait for the next chapter to drop, feel free to check out my growing One Piece playlist that includes videos on all the Yonko, Warlords, Supernova, and much more. Link to that is in the description. And I especially want to thank the Patron Squad over on Patreon and here on YouTube who help make videos like this one possible. First and foremost, I want to thank the Patrons of Legend, the ones acknowledged by Lord Twigo himself, Alpha Sigma, and Red Haired Raven. And are the 1-tier patrons the ones who stand atop all clans: Ingrata, Pate Hefa, Aljatal, Dr. Cortman, The Toasted Chi, Rai Carlo, Slickback, Emperor Otaku, Spidey Life Tanel, Tungsten Tarkus, Baked Buddhist, and Cody Hebert. And our Pro Hero tier patrons, the one and only Gilgamesh, Angel Cruz, Anatoly Kazatsky, Cricket XP, Very Gucci, Alicia Actor, Bonnie Parks, Hinokami and Water, Ted No Ted, iSparky65, Joanne Garcia, Fatboy Games, Metal Mama, Corey McGowan, Deadly Saint, Soul Rise, Slice and Dice, and Pillu. Thank you all so much. If you do enjoy our work, you can support more of it by going over to patreon.com/animeuproar and becoming a patron today for as little as $1. If you do so, you'll get your name featured in future videos alongside these amazing people right here, and you'll even get access to our private patron-only Discord where we talk about anime life and, of course, dank memes. So check out patreon.com/animeuproar, link in the description if you're interested. You can also join the YouTube channel by clicking that blue join button next to the subscribe button that you've hopefully already destroyed. And if you do become a channel member, keep in mind you can find the link to the Discord by going to the community tab, and you'll see secret VIP hidden messages that only channel members can see. And that's where you'll find the link to the VIP Discord. So yeah, you can support more content that way if you prefer. Whichever way you choose to support us, you can get the same great benefits. Thanks again, and until next time, see ya, Space Cowboys.